Hello again, it is Mrs. Trombley, and it is time for your Math Unit 3, Lesson 6 notes. So you're going to need your second packet that I gave you for the notes. Your first one should be completed, all set in your math folder, and then I gave you a Math Unit 3, packet number 2. And within that, there should be a lesson number 6, Exploring Fractional Shares. You need that, and you need a pencil, so make sure you have those things. Pause me if you need to. Just a reminder that whatever I write, whatever pictures I draw, I need you to do the same. Okay, so that might mean you have to pause me sometimes so you can get all the pictures down, but I need you to be doing the same things that I'm doing with this. All right, example number 1. There are 4 people in the Walton family, but there are only 3 waffles, and everyone is hungry. Sounds like a huge dilemma. How can the Waltons share the waffles equally? So there's 4 people, but there are only 3 waffles. And then we want to share them equally. I'm guessing that we're seeing that this is not multiplication anymore, right? Because we're going to be sharing some things equally. That means we're going to be dividing some things up. So hopefully you see that this is a little introduction to division today. So 4 people in the family, 3 waffles. So what we're going to do is I'm going to draw out these 3 waffles. Okay, I'm going to make mine square. 1, 2, 3. So there are the 3 waffles, right? Now, there are 4 people, right? And I can't give each person 1 waffle, I know that. But if I want to equally share between 4 people, what we can do is we can cut up each whole into how many pieces? 4. So this 3 tells me how many whole waffles I have, and this 4 tells me how much I want to share, how much I want to divide up each waffle. So I'm going to take each waffle, I'm going to cut it up into 4 pieces. Okay, hopefully you're with me so far. How can they share it equally? Well, let's think about this. If there's 4 people, and each of these is cut up into 4 pieces, couldn't I give each person 1/4 of the waffle? Yeah, I could totally do that. So if we give each person 1/4 of the waffle, then I would be taking 3, because there's 3 waffles, times, how much do we get? 1/4. So now we thought it was division. We really just did 3 divided by 4. And we started talking a little bit in our number talks about how to write multiplication and division using our inverses. And wow, we came up with 2 equations. That's going to be kind of a goal of what we do today. So to answer this question, how can we share them equally? We just took the 3 and we divided it by 4. And we see that that's the same thing as taking 3 times 1/4. And 3 times 1/4, if we did solve that out the way we would. Look at this as 1/4 plus 1/4 plus 1/4. 1, 2, 3, 3/4, right? Or if you wanted to do the standard algorithm and put the 1 underneath the 3, you can. And 3 times 1 is 3, and 1 times 4 is 4. So the answer to 3 divided by 4 is 3/4, which is the same as 3 times 1/4, as we see from there. So either way, each person is going to get 3/4 of a waffle, okay? And then everyone has the same amount. It's great. All right, example number 2. Hopefully you get some waffles for dinner tonight or something, because this is gonna make you want waffles. Example number 2, suppose there are 5 people and 4 waffles. Letter A says, what is each person's share of 1 waffle? So picture this. If there are 5 people and 4 waffles, we can draw our 4 waffles. Let's do that. We have 4 waffles. And now we want to share these 4 waffles between 5 people. So how many pieces do we need to cut up each waffle into if we're going to share between 5 people? Yes, 5. So I'm going to draw 4 lines. You should too, to make 5 pieces. And now I want to know, what is each person's share of 1 waffle? Well, if we're splitting this between 5 people, that would mean that each person would get 1/5 of each waffle, right? So what is each person's share of one waffle? Each person will get 1/5 of each waffle. The next question says, what is each person's share of 4 waffles? So each person would get 1/5 of this one, they would get 1/5 of this one, they would get 1/5 of this one, they would get 1/5 of this one. So what do they end up having? 1/5 plus another 1/5 plus another 1/5 plus another 1/5, which is 1/5 times 4, which means 4/5. So each person is going to get 4/5 of each waffle. Now this asks you to complete each equation. This is where I really want you to understand the inverse relationship between multiplication and division. Inverse just means opposite. So complete the equation. 4 divided by 5 equals the same thing as blank times blank. Now we already know our answer is 4/5, right? Because we're taking the 4 waffles and dividing it between 5 people. And we just saw that if you take 4 waffles and divide it between 5 people, each person gets 4/5. We have to figure out what's our multiplication equation. Well, didn't we just say that we took 1/5 times 4, right? So we have 1/5 4 times. So we did 4 times 1/5, and that will give us 4/5. So when we had 3 waffles to divide between 4 people, we did 3 times 1/4. And when we have 4 waffles to divide between 5 people, we have 4 times 1/5. Okay, we're gonna be looking for some patterns soon. Hopefully you're catching on to a little bit right now. If not, don't worry about it. All right, example number 3. Suppose there are 10 people and 7 waffles. What is each person's share of one waffle? So there's 7 waffles, right? We wanna share them between 10 people. If I'm gonna share each waffle, and there are 7 of them, between 10 people, how many pieces am I gonna have to cut up each waffle into? 10. If you said 10, you're right. We're not gonna cut them up into 7. 7 is how many waffles I have. Now, if you wanted to, you could draw the 7 waffles out, and then we can cut each one up into 10 pieces, but I'm just gonna kind of visualize that, okay? Or we could make one of them. Why don't you go ahead and make one of the waffles, and then we'll apply it to the 7. We wanna cut this up into 10 pieces, so I'm just gonna draw a line right down the middle, and then go 1, 2, 3, 4. I drew 4 lines so I could get 5 sections, but then I cut it in half. So I have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So this represents one waffle. If we're sharing it between 10 people, then each person would get 1/10 of each waffle, right? So what is each person's share of one waffle? 1/10, that's what they get. What is each person's share of 7 waffles? So this right here is gonna happen 7 times, right? So if they get 1/10 of a waffle 7 times, that would mean you have 1/10 7 times. That would mean 1/10 plus 1/10 plus 1/10 plus 1/10 7 times. So if you have 1/10 7 times, isn't that 7/10? Yes. And here we have our little equation again. Complete the equation. 7 divided by 10, because that's what we did. We took 7 waffles and we divided them by 10, which is weird because we're not used to dividing something lower by something higher, right? That's why we get these fractional pieces. Fractions are just parts of amounts, parts of whole amounts. So if you have 7 divided by 1/10, didn't we just do 7 times 1/10 because they had 1/10 of each waffle? So 7 divided by 10 is the same thing as 7 times 1/10 because we cut each one up into 10 pieces. And we already said that equals 7 times 1/10 equals 7/10. And if you're like, does it? It does, because I could say 7 over 1 times 1 over 10. Isn't that what you learn when you're multiplying by a whole number? And 7 times 1 is 7, and 1 times 10 is 10. So it's true, it is 7/10. Okay, so now when we get down to letters G and H, I'm asking you to be able to take what you've learned up here and see if we can apply it without drawing our picture. If you want to draw the pictures because they help, and I agree, you are more than welcome to do that, but I want us to kind of make a generalization right now. Take a look. When we did 4 divided by 5, that was the same as taking 4 times 1/5, right? Because we took each of the 4 and cut them up into 5 pieces, and each person would get one of those pieces. So 4 divided by 5 is the same as 4 times 1/5. And when we had to take the 7 waffles and divide it by 10 people, that was the same as taking the 7 times 1/10, because each one was cut up into 10 pieces. So we ended up with 7/10. When I had the 3 waffles and we wanted to share them between 4 people, 3 divided by 4, we saw to get our answer, we could do 3 times 1/4. So I'm hoping maybe that you're seeing, if you have 5 divided by 6, that would mean I'd have 5 waffles, right? How many pieces would each waffle be cut up into? 6 pieces, right? And then each person would get 1/6. So instead of saying 5 divided by 6, I could say 5 times 1/6, right? Because that would be the same thing. I could draw my 5 squares and cut them up into 6 sections and shade 1 and shade 1 and shade 1 5 times. And when you see at the end, we're gonna have, if you have 1/6 5 times, 1/6 plus 1/6 plus 1/6 plus 1/6 plus 1/6, you have 5/6. So 5 divided by 6 is 5/6. Fractions are just like little tiny division problems. And if you're not making these like kind of big connections now, don't worry, we're gonna talk about this a lot in class. I know the video is not exactly the same, but you are really rocking it out doing this hybrid and following the directions, and I'm really proud of you guys. This has gotta be tough, and you're just persevering, working hard through it. All right, anyway, 4 divided by 9. So this would mean I'd have 4 waffles and I wanna share them between 9 people. So that would mean I would have my 4 waffles. I cut up each one into 9 pieces, so I would have 1/9 4 times to share them. So 4 divided by 9 is the same thing as 4 times 1/9. And if you have 1/9 4 times 1/9 plus 1/9 plus 1/9 plus 1/9, that would mean you would have 4/9. So 4 divided by 9 is 4/9. We're sharing 4 between 9 people, so each person would get 4/9. Okay, we're almost there. Letter I. How can you divide 7 waffles among 8 people? How can you divide 7 waffles among 8 people? So I want to take 7 divided by 8. So how can we do that? Well, we could take each waffle and cut it up into how many pieces? 8. That's what we're dividing it up into. So 7 divided by 8 means we take each waffle and we cut it up into 8 pieces, right? And then if I have 7 divided by the 8 pieces, one of those pieces would be shaded in each of the 7. So I could take 7 times what? 1/8. Because if I have my 7 waffles, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and I cut each of those up into 8 pieces, and each person gets 1/8, wouldn't I get 1/8? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times? Yes. And that would mean I'd have 1/8, 1/8, 1/8, 1/8, 1/8, 1/8, 1/8, 7 times. So 7 times 1/8 is 7/8. So 7 divided by 8 is 7/8. Okay. Letter J, how can you divide 39 waffles equally among 5 serving plates? Okay, so I want to take 39 waffles and divide them equally among 5 serving plates. So I want to do 39 divided by 5, right? So kind of picture this. We have 5 serving plates, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I want to divide 39 waffles equally among those plates. Okay, so I'm guessing you're saying this is not going to come out to a nice whole number because I can't multiply 5 by something to get 39. I know that 5 times 8 is 40, so that's close, but 8's not going to work, right? So if I wanted to divide 39 by these 5, I could just take one waffle at a time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35. But then I'd have to stop because I can't go 36, 37, 38, 39, and then I still have, oh no, I don't have enough. So right now, each plate has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right? Each plate has 7 waffles on it. And then I have, so 7 times 5 is 35. I still have 4 waffles left over, right? So far, I know that my whole number is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right? And now I have 4 waffles left over and 5 plates. That would mean 4 waffles divided by 5 plates. And 4 divided by 5, you see that we can get this by taking 4 times 1/5 is 4/5. So that would mean that I would have to take 7 4/5 waffles for each plate. And then I would have all 39 that were used. All right, so 7 4/5 waffles is how many each plate would have on it. Very good listening. Enjoy the rest of your day.